Hey there, neighbors. I hope you're well. I'm doing all right today. Had some crappy stuff going on yesterday, but doing all right today. I actually managed to be somewhat productive. Not like super productive, but productive. And did stuff. And wrote stuff. And did things. And actually generally improved my mood somewhat. Part of why I was able to do this was to remember something that I had forgotten. Sometimes to write, sometimes for me to get creative, I need to remove myself from how to put it, the place I go to be safe. My cave that you see in the background here, which has lots of my favorite things and some garbage, is the place I go to feel safe. It's the place that I go when I'm in a bad mood. The thing with that is, it's also where my primary computer is, as evidenced by the fact that I'm talking to you right now. That can be a problem. Because when I try and be productive in the space that I'm also retreating to because I'm depressed, kind of works at counter purposes, right? So, I remembered that I was a lot more productive when I went out of the house. I took my laptop and I went to a local bookshop. That was a weird mix-up. Local bookstore, which has a coffee shop in it. And I sat down and started writing. So if you're running into a creative block, change your setting, is what I'm saying. Change your physical setting in such a way that it doesn't feel like it used to. Either go to someplace else or redesign it or what have you, but change your perspective and maybe it will break the sort of inhibitions on your productivity. I went and did a lot of writing on some dust-to-dust stuff. I am sadly not going to make it to the event this weekend because work. I'm not going to just insert that those times I've ranted about my job here, okay? But I, thought at least I'd do some text props and such. This also leads me to another thing I'm going to talk about, writing text props. A few little things that I've picked up. One, writing text props for multiple characters is an odd challenge. You have to change your authorial voice midstream. Now, sometimes with nondescript characters trying to say nondescript things, that's not hard. When you have very distinctive personalities and you want to try and relay them, it becomes harder. I wrote text props for 3 different characters today, each with their own sort of well-recognizable voices. I'm very big on sort of giving characters quirks and a distinct voice to them when I play them, and I have to somehow relate that in a form that will be available to somebody when I'm not there to relay it myself. And to do that with 3 different characters, it's kind of hard. Now, another thing to remember with writing a text prop is try and keep in mind what the person wants, i.e. what the player is looking for, and balance it against what the NPC will give. Don't just give the player what they want with no thought into how the NPC will sort of address what they want. If a character is very standoffish and such, he's not going to suddenly give you a huge info dump because you want an info dump. You have to figure out where you fit in there. Other characters, might want to tell you about their favorite thing, maybe not so much the thing you asked them about. So they might give you a little bit about the thing that you asked about, and a whole lot of the stuff that they find interesting. Or, maybe they're manipulative. Maybe they want to manipulate you into doing things. Bear in mind, and this might be controversial with some people, not all NPCs will tell you the truth. You should keep that in mind when you're writing your text prompts. Bear in mind what characters are actually going to lie to the PCs, because some of them will. And PCs should accept that sometimes people will lie, sometimes people will give you just bad information because that's what they're operating with. If you ask somebody out of play and they give you an out of play answer, this is the correct answer, that's one thing. If you ask somebody in play for an in-play answer, they will give you an in-play answer that makes sense to them. Sometimes it makes sense to them to lie. So keep that in mind. There are exceptions. There are characters that are and should be always truthful. But there are some that, I'm sorry, they're going to lie. So figure out when you're writing text prompts what the person who's writing the text prompt is trying to do. Does he expect that anybody will be reading it? Is it a diary that he never thought anybody'd find? Then he's probably not going to insert a bunch of lies that make no sense. On the other hand, if he is fairly certain that someone else is going to read it, he might put in some things in there that are not true. If you're writing a letter to someone and you're trying to, and they're, the NPC is trying to convince this person to do something, they will tell them the truth that makes it work for them, or they will maybe lie to them, depending on the character of the person. If somebody is a paladin-ish type and is unlikely to lie, he may still not tell the person on the other end of the letter everything going on with the matter, so that they will, be disposed to his particular point of view. Lying as opposed to lies of omission. Now, that said, you don't want to go too far the other direction. You don't want to write text prompts in such a manner that the PCs never trust them. You want them to see them as a valuable source of information. And so you don't want to be a, aha, I fooled you every single time they do it. Because that will also inhibit their fun. And it will mean that you're putting in a lot of effort into something that they don't care about anymore because you keep lying to them through that. So you have to find that balance. Not everything's going to be true, but enough things should be true. There should be enough information in them that it makes it worth their time to read. Anyways, these are my thoughts on text prompts, having just written a few of them. I have reached the end of my sort of creative juices for the day. I feel good about the fact that I got some stuff done. I feel bad about the fact that I haven't gotten more stuff done. But, it was nice to be able to get out of the house and feel the sort of juices flowing again. And I need to do it more often. So I will probably make a point of trying to get out of the house more often, as often as I can, to get some writing done and what have you. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Subscribe, like, share with all the people. I hope you all have a good time, and I will talk to you later. See ya.